All right, so how was it designing your user flow? All right, so how was it designing your first user flow diagram? If it's particularly remarkable or particularly beautiful, feel free to share it in the comment box below and we can all marvel at your work. All right, so it's time to go on to the next stage. What do you do once you've completed the user flow diagram and you've designed all of the user journeys? Well, you go on to a stage called wireframing. Now, what are wireframes? Wireframes are essentially a low fidelity representation of how your app will look in the future. So essentially, you're designing with a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're drawing out where the images go, where the buttons go, essentially just a sketch or an outline of how your app would look. And this is really meant to be very rough and ready. It shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes to draw up, 10 screens in your app, because nobody's judging your drawing abilities. All it has to do is to make the layout of the screen super clear so that in the future, when you're designing a mock-up or you're designing a prototype, you know how the screen will look. So this is about the placement of the images. Am I going to use a tab bar? Am I going to have a navigation controller, etc.? And it's only meant as a rough sketch of how your app will work. So I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite tools for wireframing. Now, just a disclaimer, we're not affiliated with these guys. I just use a lot of their tools and I really like them. And so that's why I'm telling you about it. So one of the companies I really like is UI Stencils, and they produce these stainless steel stencils that remind me of when I was a kid. And they've created the same thing, so cutouts of all the common icons that you use when you're designing apps. So for example, a location indicator or a heart or a thumb up or the play button. And it comes in really handy when you're just sketching things off the bat. And another thing I use from them is a sketchpad, which has iPhones or Android phones or iPad or website, whatever, that is printed on thick paper. And you can essentially sketch on the go all of your ideas. So for somebody like me who has an app idea probably realistically every 5 minutes, this is really a boon. So I can get those ideas down onto paper and see just how terrible or great they are. Mostly they're terrible, but my procrastination saves the world from all my terrible ideas. So if you just want to use these templates, you don't actually have to buy it from them. I've included a download link to a free version, a free PDF version that you can download and print out yourself. And it's in the text box below. So have a look at that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our user flow diagram that we created in the last module, and we are going to convert all of the screens. Remember that screens are represented in user flow diagrams by rectangles. So we're going to take all of these screens and we're going to turn them into wireframes. Let me show you how I've done it for this example workout app. And please don't judge my terrible drawing. I've decided to go for a very simple welcome screen. It'll probably have a background color, a single flat color. And I've got an image of some dumbbells over here. And I've got 2 buttons, login with Facebook or login with Google, as we saw in our user flow diagram. Now, the next stage, if you click on one of these buttons, you get taken to the home screen. And on the home screen, I want to give people an encouraging message when they first land on it. So telling them how many days have they been on a streak of workouts. You've had a 3-day streak, so keep it up, essentially. And then there's a start button, which allows them to start a workout. And also there is a tab bar at the bottom. Now this is compliant with the iOS design guidelines, where navigation between screens is mostly done through tab bars. Now, if you're designing for Android, the rules are slightly different. And the reason for that is on Android, you have physical buttons usually on the phones down here. So you've got a back button, you've got a home button, etc. So you never want to have 2 rows of buttons on top of each other, because the chance for tapping on the wrong button is very high. So for Android designs, you tend to see a hamburger menu, so the 3 lines up here that looks a bit like a hamburger, and you get a pop-out menu. It's always important to be aware of the design conventions for the environment that you're designing for. So coming back to our workout app, so you can click on this button to browse through workouts. You can click on the calendar to see how often you've been working out, look at your stats. You can click on this button to check your profile, and this of course is the current home screen. So the next screen that we've got is the workout list. So the browsing through the workout screen. And I've decided to go for a sort of table layout where you've got the name of the exercise, you've got an image of the exercise, and how many reps you should do each time. And here I wanted to be able to tap on these images and select them and add them to my workout. And finally, the last screen we've got is the workout session screen. Again, really poor drawing on my part. You should imagine that this is a man jumping into a star shape. And it could be, an animated GIF, or it could be a looping video that shows the user how to do star jumps. And then you keep track of how many sets of workouts they've done, how many repetitions they need to do, and then you track how long they've been working out for. And we also designed in our user flow diagram that you should be able to proceed to the next exercise through a button. That's simply represented as a right arrow on my screen. So that's pretty much a very, very simple wireframe of the main screens in my app. Now, this has been very easy to create, and it literally takes 5 or 10 minutes just to sketch up. And it allows you to formulate your ideas into something tangible. So the next step I'm going to show you is something really cool. And it's a free app called Pop that allows you to take photos using your phone of all of these wireframes, and you can link them up through buttons. And finally, you end up with a working prototype on your phone. So let me show you what mine looks like. I've designed a total of 9 screens for this hypothetical workout app. And all you do is you draw them pen on paper, and all you do is you draw them out pencil on paper, and you use the Pop app, which is free to download on Android and iOS. And then you can insert these links, and you can say when the user clicks on this area, we should link to the home screen, for example. And it allows for some pretty neat gestures and interactions. So, for example, in my list of exercise screen, I've decided to designate an area which allows you to swipe up, and it links up to the next page that simulates what would happen in the app if you just swiped up on that table of exercises. Let me show you what this looks like when it's completed. So here's my workout app, and I'm going to choose to log in with Facebook. I get taken to the home screen, and I decide to browse through my workouts, and I can see that there's these images of my workouts, and I'm going to select the ones that I want to do. So I want to do some squats, some star jumps, etc. And then I'm going to swipe up to see some of the other exercises. Okay, so I'm done with my exercises. Let's go back to the home screen and start the workout. So this takes me to the workout session, and it tells me that I should be doing star jumps, 30 of them, and I've been working out for 15 minutes. I can either end the session or I can progress to the next workout. And this is meant to be sit-ups. I'm sorry, this doesn't look like sit-ups, but just bear with me. And then on this screen, I'm going to end my session and go back to the home screen. I'm going to have a look at my stats. These were the days in the last month that I have been working out. There's some more detail down here, which I can swipe through. And then if I click on this graph button, it shows me the graph of how frequently I'm working out. So I can toggle between these two like so. And then finally, we're going to have a look at the profile page, which just shows an image of the user, their name, and some of their body stats. And you can edit that as needed. And then we go back to the home screen, and that's essentially a working prototype that was created in less than 30 minutes. All right, so you got the hint. This is, again, your turn to do some hands-on design work. And going back to that recipe app, we want you guys to turn that user flow diagram into wireframes. So for every single screen that you've drawn, you should have a screen that's sketched out as a wireframe. And then we want you to download the free Pop app onto your phone and link up the different screens through creating these buttons. So all you need to do when you're using Pop is you just need to select an area and click link to and decide which screen you want to link it to. And once you've linked up all the screens, you'll have a working you'll have a simple working prototype that you can show anybody. So very often people have ideas and they can't quite articulate it in a way that anybody understands what it does. This is the perfect way to putting those thoughts down into an actual prototype that you can show people how it works, and all of its benefits rather than telling them about it. So these are some of my favorite tools, and I'm looking forward to the awesome prototypes that you guys are going to create. So happy designing, and I'll see you on the next lesson.